Perhaps I should explain the events that led up to this new adventure. I'm trying to decide, am I starting over or is this a new chapter? And although what I'm doing now is familiar ground, I'm going about it in a whole new way. My introduction to lymphedema, the abnormal chronic swelling of an extremity, started with my breast cancer diagnosis in 1989. As a graduating massage therapist, I was aware of the lymphatic system and what it meant to have an axillary dissection, or 22 lymph nodes, surgically removed from my armpit. This reduction in the lymphatic transport system puts cancer patients at high risk for developing lymphedema. That included me. My concerns at the time was that no one in my part of the world knew how to treat it effectively, much less prevent it. Through the generosity of my friends, I was able to extend my massage training to include the specialization of lymphedema treatment in the Vater School in Austria and the Foldy Clinic in Germany. It wasn't long before other schools entered this arena, and the competition between the various modalities being offered and the competence of graduating or certified students became a source of contention. At that point, Dr. George Gilman, medical director of my clinic, and I were invited to join the board of the National Lymphedema Network. We were asked to establish a group of qualified therapists and doctors willing to create a certification process based on a written exam that could be offered at the next NLN conference in San Francisco. This group also helped put together a new organization separate from the NLN, which we called the Lymphology Association of North America, or LANA. The main purpose of LANA was to identify the body of knowledge required to effectively treat lymphedema and provide a framework for those passing the exam to extend their LANA certification throughout their career by means of a recertification process. I opened my first clinic in 1992, and it was the first of its kind in the Northwest. It didn't take long for me to realize the necessity of education, not only for patients, but also the medical community, many of whom didn't have sufficient information to prescribe for or even diagnose this condition. By 1993, one of my patients, Jane Gordon, and I decided we needed a way to get this information out to where it was needed. With help from her father, Jane and I co-founded the Northwest Lymphedema Center, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to patient self-care education. My first major epiphany was the realization that the self-care bandaging was just too difficult and too complicated. It was clear that bandaging was the patient compliance deal breaker. Once I handed patients their bandages on the day of discharge, that was the day I saw their tears. I knew I had to find a better answer. While training in Australia with the doctors Casley Smith, I learned about Bernd Schneider, a Foldy therapist who discovered that polyurethane foam chips in varying resiliencies and shapes under compression would break down underlying scar tissue, often referred to as fibrosis, which is the real culprit in lymphedema. It would also soften tissue enough to make it easier for patients to do their self-massage. At that point, I began making special foam-filled sleeves that would make the bandaging process easier, or in many cases, even be used as an overnight substitute for bandages. This evolved into a line of garments, both ready-made and custom, and the founding of a major manufacturing company called JoViPak, which sold products throughout the United States and in several foreign countries. JoViPak is now owned by BSN Medical under their Jobst brand. Since I'm a therapist, not a business person, I'm thrilled to now have the time and the opportunity to get back to taking care of lymphedema patients. Do I miss JoViPak? Well, not the stress, but certainly the employees, many of whom had been with me for over 12 years. However, I am now facing a new challenge, a reoccurrence of cancer. While I was in the hospital getting part of my stomach removed, my daughter Dee Dee brought me a book, Great Quotes from Great Women, and in it, Eleanor Roosevelt said, "When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to die." Well, I'm not ready to do either. I still plan on helping lymphedema patients understand their lymphatic system and show them self-care techniques. But now I have a new mission, and that is finding the answer to why did we get cancer in the first place, let alone a recurrence. I want my patients to have more than a normal-looking arm or leg. I want them to be well. I want them to understand not only why they have lymphedema, but identify the precipitating factor causing the illness or the condition that overwhelmed their lymphatic system in the first place. As I treated patients, my second major epiphany came to me when I realized there were other contributing factors that were making it difficult to attain a successful outcome. The first and foremost was their diet. Quite often junk food or a gluten intolerance was causing additional swelling. For some it was a combination of factors, prescription drugs, particularly opiates, obesity, or hormonal imbalance, or food sensitivity. These factors provided the motivation for my decision to become a nutritionist. For those of us who get lymphedema as a result of cancer surgery, I think we need to explore a relatively new theory, that a tumor is merely an expression of a systemic disease. Surgery, chemo, and radiation may only be a temporary fix. Until the integrity of the immune system is restored, a recurrence is only a matter of time. I look at my own recurrence and keep asking why. I thought I was doing everything right. Healthy nutrition, no sugars, no trans fats, no gluten, no processed or fast foods. But the lack of sleep and its effect on stress was inevitably my downfall. I've learned a lot about the importance of adequate sleep and stress management, and hoping I can impress upon lymphedema patients they will never regain optimal health without 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. With these new challenges ahead of me, I have teamed up with one of the most experienced naturopathic doctors I know, Raymond Dent, and together we have opened the Lymphedema Nutrition and Wellness Information Center in Des Moines, Washington, 12 miles south of downtown Seattle. Dr. Dent was in the first graduating class at John Bastyr Naturopathic College 35 years ago. He has vast experience in diagnosing and successfully treating a wide variety of conditions and a renewed interest in the lymphatic system. It is my honor to introduce you to this amazing doctor, Dr. Raymond Dent.
The road to health is paved with correct choices, and correct choices are founded in the possession of accurate knowledge. The essence of healing exists within a construct composed of 3 factors: knowledge, experience, and a sincere concern for the patient's welfare. It is upon these principles that successful healing is accomplished. In addition, the use of substances or therapies consistent with the nature and constitution of the person seeking healing is important because this minimizes side effects and allows for a successful and long-term resolution of conditions. Here at the Lymphedema Information Center, we seek to provide an environment that allows for people to access that information so critical to them in their pursuit of health. We seek to provide them a method allowing them to make choices and incorporate methods of therapy that will ensure long-term resolution, not merely the treatment of symptoms or short-term manifestations. By following these principles, we guarantee a higher probability of a successful life and a happy one.
As a way of giving back to our community, we're offering free open discussion groups every Wednesday night. The first Wednesday of each month, I will focus on lymphedema and show patients and anyone interested in the self-care techniques they can use to manage their own condition or that of a loved one. The remaining 3 Wednesdays, we will answer questions and focus on any health issues that are of particular interest to the attendees, such as arthritis, allergies, autoimmune disease, inflammation, or digestion. You are all invited to attend these evening meetings or just stop by our office during our office hours, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You are also always welcome to come in and explore our extensive reference library or watch health-related DVDs in our waiting room. We look forward to meeting you, hearing your story, and working together to help you find your way toward optimal health.